you geeks! It's been brought up in the comments section that I write stories. Because frankly, why not complete the trifecta fangirl, booktuber, writer? Though booktubing was the last hobby I acquired. In my Elantris review, I mentioned my first fangirl obsession with Robin Hood. But I did not mention the novella, to be generous, I wrote about Robin Hood's annoying little sister back in 4th grade. Now as a booktuber, I don't just overanalyze all the parts of a story to be critical. I'm studying.
If I can learn to do it, you can learn to do it.
November is National Novel Writing Month. Many ambitious writers try to write a new 50,000-word novel in a month. I knew that Dawn Shard and Rhythm of War were coming out this month, not to mention Thanksgiving, even taking 2020 into account. I knew I couldn't get a whole new novel written. Since the whole point is to finish a novel, I decided to finish the 1.5 draft of my second novel. I'm not yet accustomed to talking about it. I'm also very good at talking about specifics, but not good at summing things up, or talking about my process, besides to say that I did it. This video is an experiment to say a little about my novel and a little about my writing process. A tale as old as time. Not really. It's very specifically set in 2013 and is not a fantasy book.
Inconceivable!
I know! But I wanted to focus on characters and plot, what I believe are the two most important pieces of a story. They are the bread that holds the story sandwich together.
It's a bread sandwich.
Hence the structure of my review. If a book has interesting characters and a good plot, then I will like it regardless if it is set in a magical land or my backyard. A good writer can make the two difficult to distinguish. I'm not there yet. The book is inspired by my 7 year as a summer camp counselor. Part of my struggle has been to write self-excerpt characters, not self-insert characters.
You should be writing from life, from the depths of your soul.
In a certain sense, it could be a very soft urban fantasy where the magic system is the fact that a bunch of teenagers and young adults are left unsupervised in the wilderness with other people's children, and it doesn't turn into...
Just take those old records off the shelf.
The plot examines the oddity of young people given responsibility in possible life and death situations while being contractually obligated to appear happy all the time. Imagine Meatballs,
The kids are brats, the food is hideous. We're gonna smoke and drink and fool around.
but with psychological consequences. Forcing happiness wears some people out and pushes others to adopt larger-than-life personas. My cast explores their contradictions in a variety of ways, in situations ranging from literal slapstick to a bear attack, a tornado, yelling at the wind, philosophizing, apocalypse planning, depression, getting high off cleaning supplies, anxiety, making mustard gas, assault, ninjas attacking, cross-dressing, branding, and seduction. If there's anything I've learned this last year, is that I love a good contradiction. However, the plot has several issues. My episodic chapters lack a connecting thread above and beyond mere wilderness survival. The writing process. I've known I would write this story since my first day working at camp. I tried to keep a detailed journal for the first 4 years. Then my tent collapsed in a heavy rain, soaking my journal, leaving me only the pages where I incoherently complain about everything.
Dear Diary, today I was pompous and my sister was crazy. Today we were kidnapped by hill folk, never to be seen again. It was the best day ever.
I returned to the process in grad school where I had an hour-and-a-half bus commute. When not doing homework, I pulled out a small new journal and began writing scenes. Writing was easiest when I expected the result would be awful, just struggling to get something on the page. I wrote scenes of basic dialogue with simple character identifiers. In most of my shorthand, I identify the characters by their job title. Once I had filled the notebook, I figured I had enough scenes to form a book.
Well, it looks like the joke's about to be on them.
So I typed them up and set them into order. Words that were once scribbles now became identifiable as English. Background characters still didn't get names, and those who had names were still primarily referred to by their first initial. Once everything was in order, I realized I was missing about half my story, mostly the back half. That was about 2 years ago. In that time, I pulled scenes out of my enhanced outline and glued them together with new ones. The goal originally was to have this all stitched together by the end of the summer, but I developed a sudden and impulsive need to sew a hava and left the last 3 chapters for November. Thus, out of my 98,955 word novel, only 10,639 words were written in November. Of these last chapters, I had pre-written like 5 scenes. I tend not to think of my writing in terms of word count.
How do you measure a year in the life?
When not comparing with Nano, I generally think of my writing in terms of scenes. That way I can spend a lot of time on a short scene that is meaningful and feel accomplished rather than trying to crank out an arbitrary number of words. I've known the end since the beginning, so all I had to do was bleed out the rest of the finale. It's awful, but it's done. It's taken me 2 years to write this all out. Usually, I'll go for months at a time, getting into a habit, then falling out of the mood, often switching to one of my other hobbies. So it's more a matter of dedication than time management. I always have the time. Sometimes I just use it for other things. Now that I've finished my 1.5 draft, it's just a matter of editing.
I mean, sure, it needs a little work, but it's got good bones.
Editing is a lot easier for me than writing, because editing the page is not blank, especially since some of the scenes have now been rendered 3 times over and are not utterly terrible. Though I wonder if I can make it better and not just different. We shall see. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would like to see more. Your patronage is greatly appreciated.